Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Today I'm speaking with Shaparak Shajarizdeh. Sorry, I mispronounced your last name. I'm really bad. Shaparak is a human rights activist. She was from Iran. She's living in Canada now. And I was hoping she would talk to me and try to explain a little bit about the situation in Iran right now. Hi Shaparak, thank you very much for coming on. And I know this must be a very stressful time for you.
Hi, Obaid. Thank you so much for inviting me and being concerned about all the terrible things that has happening in my country, in the region, and now it has influenced the Canadians too. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, no, please, thank you. It's what's going on right now? I mean, there'd be protests for the last couple of days. I mean, okay.
Yeah, it like the past couple of months was the news from Iran were horrific. Like 2 months ago, the Iranian government killed many people. According to Reuters, more than 1,500 people were killed. Thousands were arrested and they are in jail, and hundreds of people are still missing. And unfortunately, day by day, people find the corpse of their loved ones in the rivers, in the river banks, and still the numbers of the people who got killed in November are getting more and more. And this is one of the things that were we were concerned about all the things that has happened. Then it was the conflict between U.S. and Iran when the commander of IRGC got killed in Iraq, Qasem Soleimani, and again they started propaganda and lie and made this person a national hero. And unfortunately, lots of government supporters and lots of academic people, lots of journalists were supporting Iranian government and saying the word that Iranian people were supporting this guy. No, this is just a propaganda. All of Iranian knows that this guy is the head of IRGC. The Revolutionary Guard has oppressed Iranian people for 40 years along with the government, and they are. We know that they are supporting wars in the region. They are causing more wars in the region. They are supporting the terrorist group troops in the region. And after that, the Iranian government said that they're gonna take hard revenge on U.S. And one of the results, unfortunately, was hitting a passenger airplane inside Iran near the capital with a missile. And that was tragic. And the most tragic things is that they were trying to hide the reason, and they lied about it to the world for 3 days, try to cover up that they hit a passenger airplane. And as you know, most of the passengers on that plane were coming to Canada, and half of them were Canadian citizens too. And I want to say this is not the first time that Iranian government has done such a thing. We had many incidents like this, that the either passenger or military airplanes crashed in Iran, and the government tried to cover the truth, and they always denied all the theories and possibilities, and it happened many times in my country.
Okay, about this Soleimani thing.
Yeah.
I know you're not there anymore, but because immediately after it happened, you had, I'm going to call it propaganda, because from my viewpoint, that's what it is. But look at all these people going for the funeral.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can kind of explain how that works in Iran, like.
First of all, they have, of course, they have some supporters inside Iran. In situation in Iran is that the minority is ruling the majority of people. That's one of the facts. And the other thing is, as an Iranian, I know how it works. When they want to, the other day in my class, my professor said the same thing a couple of days ago, and I said, if you were in Iran, you would understand. They always forced the people who work for the government to go to these kind of rallies. They send them mail and force them to go to these kind of rallies. And also they take all the students from the school to these kind of rallies. And this time, I don't know for a fact, but I saw 2 tweets from 2 people who said they were working for private companies, not for the government. They were working for private companies, and and their boss forced them to go to this rally, and said, otherwise you're gonna be fired. I don't know if it's the fact. I just saw 2 tweets in Twitter. But for the people who work for the government, I know that's the fact that they force people to go. And there were lots of tweets from different people in Twitter that they said, we don't want to go. We are sorry, but we have to go. Otherwise, we're going to lose our job. And when I said when I said it to my professor in the class, there was another guy originally from Venezuela, and he said, yeah, you're right, because my government several years ago had the same problem. The people weren't supporting the government, and they wanted to show this propaganda to the world. So they had this, the Iranian, their Iranian friends, the Iranian officials taught them how to force people to go to these kind of demonstration and rallies in the streets. So that's one of their tactics to mobilize a crowd and lie about it to the world.
You were arrested and imprisoned. You were put in, the regime's prisons. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about that, but if you can give an idea of what Soleimani controlled, right? I mean, this was not some nice guy. This was not a freedom fighter or something.
I cannot describe the feeling when you're there. I'm just saying that when they arrest you, at first I thought, I have a lawyer, I can ask for help, and there is going to be a system, a law. But after a couple of hours, you just realize there is no law, there is no help inside the prison. That's one of the facts. And the other thing is, they threatened you to be sent to the Revolutionary Guard intelligence centers. That's very horrifying. As you know, the IRGC, Revolutionary Guard, has their own intelligence service, and you cannot imagine inside jail, you are afraid to send to them, and they're going to use it against you if you don't cooperate, if you don't listen to us. We're going to send your documents to the intelligence office and of the Revolutionary Guard, because that's when you think there's no hope for you. And if I have time, I want to talk about the same incidents 2 years ago. Another plane, in February 2018, if I'm not mistaken, another plane crashed in Iran, and on that plane there were a group of environmentalists, and they all dead, and the government still hasn't tell people what had happened to that plane. And at the same time, they arrested the other environmentalists in Iran, as you know, and there were some. One of them was a Canadian resident, Nilufar Bayani. She's still in jail, and the Revolutionary Guard intelligence arrested these people, and Kaveh Sharif Emami, a Canadian citizen, suspiciously killed inside their cell. And they charged these environmentalists for treason, and they asked for execution. But because the Revolutionary Guard didn't have enough evidence to show that they were doing something, so they are still in jail, facing 8 years. And as I told you, there were Canadian citizens among them, and still people are wondering what had happened to that plane too. And people assume that the reason was something that the Revolutionary Guard had something to do with that plane crash too.
Okay, yeah, thanks. No, it's just because, like I said, I've been watching this, through the news, through social media, and I wanted you to try to give a bit of a background on some of that stuff, because, you'll get, Hollywood stars saying, "Oh, this guy was a hero," and Trump's a war criminal, and
people now that people find out that the government and the officials were lying to them about the reason of the plane crash. They are grieving, they are mourning, and now it turns to other protests inside Iran. And I wish that they don't kill more people during this protest. But if you listen to the things that people are chanting in the streets, is the same as the one they were chanting 2 months ago. They want the falling down of this government. They say to the face of the government, to the face of the leader, that we don't want you, and we want freedom. We don't want to. And they chant, our enemy is here. They are lying that it's U.S. Our enemy is you. And Iranian people don't want this corrupted dictatorship regime.
Yeah, okay, one of the things I have noticed, because the majority of the tweets and things I see coming out are those kind of chants like, our enemy is here. You're lying that it's the U.S. But then there are also some that say, we don't want any hardliners, we don't want any reformers. And then there are also other hardliner factions like MEK, who don't support the Ayatollahs, but they are also hardline. So, I mean, there must be groups taking advantage of these protests to, like a group like MEK can take advantage of these protests to further their cause.
To be honest, I don't think MEK has a chance after this regime. I don't think MEK has a chance in my country to rule again, because to get power, because they are very powerful. They have money. They have the propaganda outside of Iran, but Iranian people don't support MEK, and they don't like them because of the things that had happened in the past during the war between Iran and Iraq. And the other thing is they have some Islamic ideology, and Iranian people don't want to be ruled under another people who have ideology, Islamic ideology, or other things. They want we Iranian people want a secular and democratic country. And as you see, sometimes I tell these people, their supporters, that the symbol of sexism is still on your leader's head. So how can I trust this group?
Okay, that I don't want to focus too much on this, but it's just because I see it here, and then I see my friends. Oh, but I saw this on CNN or something. So I mean, the other day CNN had on this woman, full hijab and the abaya and everything, and she was one of the leaders, from the Islamic Revolution, and she was on CNN talking about how great and everything was. Now, when you see stuff like that, I mean, does that get you angry? Does that get sad? Or?
I get angry. I feel sorrow. I feel like I feel anger, because one of the things is they are living in democratic countries, enjoying their life here, but at the same time they are seeing people in Iran suffering, but at the same time they are supporting Iranian government. For what reason, I cannot understand. But one of the things that, and this is also one of my motivation, because I don't have my English is not good. I can't advocate my cause, but and I said, you have to go to university. You have to get better in English, and so you can confront these people. And this is one of my motivation. When I see these people, it makes me so angry. And they have some places in the university, and they are telling lies. They are telling they are supporting the government's propaganda. For I don't know the reason, and I cannot understand, because as an Iranian, all Iranian knows what's going on inside Iran. And I'm telling you, I'm not I'm not talking to you as a political activist. I'm talking to you as an Iranian woman. When I talk to you about Soleimani and what people think of him, or what people think of a Revolutionary Guard, or the situation of Iran, for 40 years, we understand, we feel the repression, and the dictatorship of this regime, and I just don't understand it.
Okay, just on that topic, I'm going to go a little bit off for a second. Okay, so especially right after I shouldn't say right after the plane got shot down, but the night the plane got shot down, they're launching those rockets at the base in Iraq. There was Iraqi civilians got killed, and it turned out okay at the rocket attack. No, they didn't, but there were other considerations afterwards where people were killed. Then I have friends who are Iraqi, and they're like, well, look, we're getting stuck in the middle of a war between Iran and the United States.
Yeah.
Or a conflict, I shouldn't call it a war. And they're there. Now I look at some of the things that are coming. The U.S. should go and set something up in Iran, or the Iranians should only take support from U.S. and Israel. I mean, to me, it's like, okay, there are people there who are wanting for freedom. There are people there who are people like yourself who are here now, and all the students, everyone you see protesting, women like Masih, and I'm like, shouldn't we just leave it up to the Iranian people?
It's so complicated. At the same time, the Iranian government, one of the fundamental of this regime is the hatred toward U.S. and Israel. And this is just the government, not the Iranian people. We don't have anything against this government. We have relatives, we have families in U.S. and actually we don't have anything against Israel or U.S. This is one thing, and the other thing is Iranian people want this regime to go, but honestly, this is a regime that killed 1,500 people in just 3 days. And do you think just people can get rid of this government and without any help from other governments? Of course, I'm one of the people who doesn't support war, but we want the support from the whole world. We want the other government to put pressure on this on Islamic regime.
Okay, no, that I agree with you. Like,
we don't want war. We don't want the situation in Syria or Iraq. But at the same time, there has to be a way to get rid of these people.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. They want international support is very important.
Yeah.
Now, let's say, hopefully something good comes out of like the tragedy of the last couple of weeks. And you can go back, you can say the tragedy of the last 40 years, independence or democratic elections and stuff come in. Yes, governments coming in, be it U.S., Israeli, UK, I don't care, governments coming in from anywhere, providing support, providing logistics, providing expertise, providing whatever, that's all great. But you don't want Iran to become, go back to the Shah being the puppet of the U.S. and the U.K., and then that leading to what happened in 79. I mean, you don't want a return of something like that, right? You want an independent, strong, free Iran run by Iranians, but, treated equally throughout the world. I mean, I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth.
This is the dream of any Iranian, of course. But the only so far the only government who support our cause was U.S. and of course Canada. And I'm so happy that I got the chance to come to this country, and because Canadian government has always support human rights and all of these things. And the sad thing is, so far, most of the politicians in Western country just ignore the violation of human rights in Iran for the political reasons. And from now on, after the tragic mass murder in November and now the plane crash, we just expect more from the politicians, especially the Western governments, the European governments. Most of the time, they just buried the human rights under the rug for political and economical reasons. But this time we expect more. And for example, there were two motions in the Canadian Parliament. One sanctioning the Revolutionary Guard, Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and the other one was the Magnitsky sanction that is going to sanction 19 architects of human rights violation in Iran. And so far, the government hasn't do anything about it. And we hope that this time the Prime Minister just take a look at these motions and decide to take actions on them.
Okay, that's the thing with Canada and motions, though. motions are non-binding. They're basically a way for the government to say, oh, look, we are putting out a strong, we're opposed to this, but we're not going to do anything about it. So it makes them look good, but they don't do anything. Motions can have the effect of someone saying, okay, we had this motion come out, we're going to make a law on it based on it. But the motion in and of itself, doesn't mean much. And what Trudeau, I'm not a fan of Trudeau at all. In fact, I don't like him. I think he's, I don't have much good to say about him. But the statements he made after that plane crash, the statements that came out yesterday from him, if he was to take that kind of lead on these kind of things on a more regular basis, I could have some respect for him. But like I said, for myself, I find him very toothless and spineless, and I don't find much good in him, and I don't think he actually supports much. But anyways, that's just me. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the Canadian motions they're a very weird thing. They're not really, they're not legally binding.
But they took action toward Venezuela and Saudi Arabia and I guess Russia for Magnitsky actions. So we are expecting to the government to do the same for Iran, and those people are some of the people who are the real criminals in the courtrooms, and one of them is the Minister of Communication. Intelligence and communication in Iran. This is the one who shut down internet during the protest in November while they were killing people. They were shooting people in the head. He ordered the shutdown of the internet. So I guess this is relevant, and we hope that this time Canadian government do something about it. I'm just hopeful.
Yeah, I know. So am I. I mean, now speaking of stuff like that.
What else we can do? What else?
Oh no. Look, I mean, more governments need to speak out and actually put pressure on them. But okay, a lot of people say, "Oh, just put sanctions on them." I don't know how much sanctions are going to help. I mean, it's not that you want to support the government, but at the same time, the average person is already, there's, the protests that were going on before this. A lot of them were about not enough food, high petrol prices, that kind of thing. So if you put more sanctions on them, you're going to hurt the people, right? I mean, there's.
That's why I'm in favor of targeted sanction, like Magnitsky, not the sanction on the on the country, on the people. Targeted sanction. That's one of the things. It's not that much, but it's better than nothing. This way, they realize that they're not free anymore to do whatever they want to do, and there's some consequences and accountability about their actions. That's it. We don't want war, but we want the support. Yeah. We want the support from other countries.
Well, I
not
said
to
that.
Ignore. Yeah.
I said that to a friend of mine. Like, okay, if we're going to do sanctions, let's say this is it's talking about Saudi Arabia, and this is in regards to Raif Badawi. And I said, okay, well, you know what? You could put sanctions on them, but you could put sanctions very limited. Okay, no luxury items. If you want to buy a car, no Rolls Royce, go get a cheap car. If you want to buy a watch, no Rolex, go get a cheap $5 watch. So only let in the essentials, so people can get a car, people can get a watch, people can get whatever, but no luxury items. So that way, all these rich guys who want to flaunt all their money, they're not able to buy what they want. The people can at least survive.
That's the only thing the other countries can do, but unfortunately, the European country so far has been ignorant about all of the human rights violation in Iran, and Iranian women expect more from their politicians.
Okay, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna because there was actually something that Masih had tweeted this morning, and I'd mentioned this to someone else as well. A lot of the protesters that you see, like if it's a government demonstration, it's almost always men, but the generic protests that are coming on the street, they're always being led by women.
Yeah.
And I mean, and like to me, that's like it's very heartening because the women were the ones who were the most oppressed for the last 40 years.
Yeah. And women alongside like the people from ethnic groups and ethnic races or the people of having other beliefs. Yeah. They were like the most who were oppressed for 40 years. And as I told you before, for 40 years, every day, Iranian women face violence in the streets from the same persons, from Basiji people who are like the leader supporters, from the special the government, the special polices, from the IRGC people, from almost anybody.
Yeah, and I mean, no, but that's okay. So like, maybe if you can, because I'm trying to understand how. So in 2017, I think it was that young woman who stood up on top of the.
December 2017. Yeah.
And then I know that the White Wednesdays and My Stealthy Freedom, that was going on a little bit before that, but it kind of seemed like from that moment of December 2017 that the protests started happening.
Yeah.
And more stuff was going on. And then now this is, a culmination. I don't know if you want to maybe walk through like how that had started and how that had progressed.
I always believed in civil disobedience actions because it's the point that you start doing something and start like breaking the silence. And what the women started was like breaking their silence and start talking about their rights. And after that, it's kind of a trigger for other demonstrations and actions. And I guess they are all, in a way, they are related to each other. Some of the women who got arrested for the labor causes, for the labor movement, they were also active in women's rights movement and opposing compulsory hijab. The same.
Okay.
And these are just the basic human rights that are that the government are violating.
Okay. Now on that, you have like all these people protesting, you have all this stuff coming out, but at the same time, like over the last year, I mean, people were being imprisoned. Your lawyer got imprisoned. I'm sure that it's in the back of people's minds, but I mean, they're being incredibly brave. They're not caring. Like all the videos that they put up, all that, like, do you think that the government is looking at those videos, trying to find some of these people to make examples of them, or are they just too busy right now to try to shore up their position? Like,
I'm making examples of them, of the people who are in jail.
No, the people who are protesting right now, and you can see the videos coming out.
They always do the same. During the demonstration in the protest in November, there were lots of people who got arrested in their home. The intelligence services they find people. There were some officers among people filming them, and when they find their identity, they arrested them at home. And also they arrested lots of activists that they had known during that time. Lots of people got arrested, not in the streets, at their home.
Okay, now sticking with this for a little
No,
bit.
they are busy doing everything. They cover everything. For suppressing people, they are covering all the aspects.
There's no government shortage there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all these people that are protesting, because again, I keep hearing it here. Oh, well, we should bring all these protesters here. And when I hear that, I say to myself, no, these people are protesting because they want to make their country better. Instead of just saying, oh, let's just bring them all here because look how great these people are.
Yeah, actually, we don't want to leave our home and start a new life in another country. That's what I was thinking, to make my home better and have a better life there. That's what they are protesting. And as you know, there are lots of immigrants, Iranian immigrants in Canada. They are the ones who decided to leave and start a new life in another land, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing too. They decided to leave all that sadness and repression behind and come to a democratic country and start a new life. But the other people just want to change, want to stay and change. And we just have to support those people. And for me, it's right now. It's still very painful. Most of the time I feel guilt. I'm seeing some people to help me dealing with this kind of feeling, because I left my friends, my lawyer there in jail. And sometimes I feel guilty to left them behind and being here. It's not a good thing, and it's not a healthy thing. My body is in here. Physically, I'm living in Canada, but unfortunately, mentally, I'm living in Iran. I also wake up and go to sleep with the Iranian time zone. It's like I'm there. So it's better to support the people of Iran. You cannot immigrate all the people. They want their home to be a better place to live, and that's what they do. And to be honest, yesterday I told my friend at the first of these protests, I told my friend, do they these people out? Are they doing something? Because they arrested everybody and they killed everybody. Are there any brave people? And in my shock, yeah, there were. There were other followers to follow the people who got killed 2 months ago, and they are brave. I was thinking all the brave ones are dead or in jail, but no, there are apparently there are other people out.
And I know there's been protests or demonstrations going on here in Canada, in Toronto. I think there's another one again today. And I mean, if you want to talk a little bit about those, or if there are going on where people can check to see if there's something going on, if they want to, if there's something going on close to them, if they want to demonstrate at the Iranian embassies or consulates, do you know? Is there a good place for them to check, or is there?
The demonstration for supporting the Iranians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There is one in the city, but Iranian embassy is closed, so nobody goes there to demonstrate. Which people usually go to a place in North York, which is there are lots of Iranians living in that area and the area around that place. So again, we are going there to support our compatriots in Iran, and also ask the Canadian government to to be involved in this investigation and also actually do something about it.
Okay.
Yeah, as Trudeau said, just do something about all these terrible things that has happened, and not to be, hopefully not to be, not to ignore all these facts about the Iranian government.
Look, like I said, I wanted to have you on here and maybe try to discuss it. So, I mean, if there's things that are going on that, you know, I haven't even asked you about or anything like that, if there's stuff you want to clear up, I mean, if there's anything you want to talk about what's going on in Iran and, you know, your concerns, like, please feel free, because like I said, I was hoping you could try to explain some of the stuff. I know you're not there, but, you know, you have contacts there. So if there's things that we haven't talked about, if there's anything like that, if you could please just, you know, try to explain some of this. Or
no, I guess I told everything I wanted to say, and just tell like people that it's don't listen to these lies that Iranian government and their supporters tell about the Revolutionary Guard, about this guy who got killed, and all Iranian knows that the Revolutionary Guard is a military army that supports the terrorist group in the region, and there are and you know, they have all the economic power in the country. I don't know if you know that or not, but all the money in the country, they have after around I don't know 15 from 15 or 20 years ago, they eventually they bought all the big companies and organizations in Iran, and they have all the money of the country, and they're spending it on the other countries in the region to have their adventures, to start wars. And that's what people are chanting in the streets, that we don't want you to spend our money in other countries. We want you out of there, and spend our money on Iranian people, not on war between other countries. And that's what Iranian people want. And the other thing is the violation of human rights by the Iranian government. And just don't forget the human rights defenders inside jail. And it's devastating when I'm thinking about all these people inside jail.
Yeah, well, again, thank you. You know, I hope that this turns out as best. And like I said, I mean, you know, I hope something good does come out of like the tragedy of the last.
Absolutely, I hope so.
You know,
I hope so.
I mean, maybe not that like I think Canada is much better for you being here, but if the situation changes there, maybe you can go back to your home and that, you know.
Yeah, of course, of course. But if I don't know if you see the videos of the victims on that plane. They were all immigrants, and they were coming here with hope and dreams. And when I see these kind of videos of these people smiling, and you can see like hope and dream in their eyes, and it's just all those dreams have gone, all those hopes have gone, and that's what makes me sad. Yeah, Iranian people, if they have the chance, if they want, they leave their country, they leave their families, they leave their home, in dream of having a better life in a free country like like Canada. But the other one are like fighting for their freedom inside Iran.
Okay, that flight though, because I was One of the people I've been following recently, especially since this all started, Karim Sajapur.
Kaveh, yeah.
Okay, and he was talking about, there were students who were, Iranians who had been here, who were coming here on a student visa, who were living in Canada, who were doing science degrees or, any kind of, and they were planning on going back to their country and helping their country, right? Like these, Canada lost immigrants, who came here for a better life. Iran also lost people who could have gone back to help their country.
Do you think the government care? Do you think do they care? Among those environmentalists in jail, I told you there were some of them were some of them were dual nationals. They could live in other countries. Nilufar was a Canadian resident, but they decided to go back to my country and live in wild and live in deserts, like to help the environmental issues in Iran. What did they get? Jail.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like I said, there's enough tragedy all the way around here. It's unbelievable. Anyways, thank you very much for talking to me. I know you've been like extremely probably worried and busy and going crazy the last little while. Again, thank you very much. Thank you for trying to explain.
Thank you again for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to talk about the situation. Thank you so much.
If there's if there are any websites you think people should go to, or where people can follow you, or who they should follow, if you can let them know, I'll put links in and people can take a look.
I don't know any website. Just Twitter, I guess, is enough, and the Masih's page, Kaveh Shahrooz. Kaveh Shahrooz tweets in English, and he's always busy following the news. Kaveh Samira Mohieddin, and my tweet is not always in English, but Kaveh and Samira and Masih,
can you send me, I have Masih's, but can you send me Kaveh's and Samira's Twitter handles?
Sure.
And I'll put that in.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, once again, thank you very much. I hope this clears up some stuff for people and people understand a little bit better what's going on. And please feel free to reach out to me whenever you want. And thank you, everyone.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for listening.